You know that feeling? It's that electric spark in the quiet of the morning, maybe just as you're stirring your coffee. Or it arrives in a flash on a long drive, the kind of idea that makes the entire world seem new again. It's a vision, clear and bright. You're going to start that business you've been dreaming of for years. You're going to learn a new language, really learn it, until you can dream in it. You're going to finally get your body and your health back on track, feeling an energy you haven't felt since you were a kid. The certainty is thrumming inside you. It's so real you can almost touch it. And in that moment of pure potential, what is the very first, most powerful impulse? It's the urge to share it, to pick up the phone and call your best friend, to sit down with your partner over dinner and lay out the whole beautiful plan, or to write that long, heartfelt post for everyone to see. You hit send, or you hang up the phone, and then it comes, the flood. The comments pour in, "This is amazing," or "I'm so proud of you for taking this leap." You see the admiration in your friend's eyes, that look that says, "Wow, you're really doing it." A wave of warmth washes over you. It's validation, it's connection, it's support. It feels like you've just taken the first massive step on your journey. It feels like progress. And this feeling, this beautiful, delicious feeling, is the most elegant trap you will ever walk into. It's an invisible net woven from praise and good intentions, and it quietly snags the very energy you need to bring that dream to life. Look, what's happening here isn't a flaw in your character. It's not a weakness or a lack of discipline. It's simply a feature of how we're wired, a hidden rule in the architecture of our own minds. Your brain, in its incredible efficiency, doesn't always make a strong distinction between the simulation of doing something and the act of actually doing it. When you announce your grand plan and receive that social reward, the praise, the likes, the encouragement, your brain releases dopamine. It's the same chemical reward you get from actually achieving something. It's a small, quiet transaction happening inside your own body. A payment delivered for a job that hasn't even begun. Think of it like this. You've decided to run a marathon. You buy the best running shoes. You post a picture of them. And you announce your training plan to the world. Everyone cheers you on. That feeling of being celebrated is so powerful that on a neurological level, it's like your mind has already crossed the finish line. You've been handed the winner's medal and a bottle of champagne right there at the starting line. Now, with the feeling of victory already in your system, how motivated are you to actually go out and run those 26 grueling miles day after day in the rain and the cold? The primary motivation, the reward at the end, has already been spent. The drive quietly evaporates. Think back for a moment. Has this ever happened to you? A brilliant project you announced with a flourish that somehow lost its steam a few weeks later. A commitment to change that felt so powerful on day one, but then just faded into the background of your life. A book with one perfect chapter written. The business plan gathering dust in a folder. The gym membership that was used with passion for 2 weeks and then became a recurring, guilt-inducing bill. We've all been there. We mistake the map for the territory, the announcement for the action. And here's the paradox, the knot we get tied up in. The common advice tells us the exact opposite, doesn't it? Tell everyone your goals, create accountability, put yourself on the hook so you can't back out. We're told this is the key to success. We're taught to use the fear of public failure as a whip to keep us moving. But this advice is based on an old understanding of how we work, one that relies on external pressure instead of internal power. It doesn't account for the subtle, powerful energy leak that happens the moment we trade the private certainty of our intention for the public validation of our words. It's a system that treats motivation as something to be forced from the outside, rather than cultivated from within. So we're caught. If we announce our dreams, we risk draining the very life force they need to grow. If we keep them secret, we feel isolated, unsupported, and perhaps we fall back into old habits without anyone to answer to. This is the dilemma. It feels like a no-win situation. But what if both of these options are based on an outdated way of seeing things? What if there's a third way? A way to stay connected to your power without ever giving it away? A way to build accountability that doesn't rely on the judgment of others, but on an unbreakable promise to yourself. This isn't about becoming a secretive hermit. It's about understanding the mechanics of your own energy and learning to direct it with intention, like a river, instead of letting it spill out in every direction. It's about protecting the sacred space where a fragile new idea can take root and grow strong before it's ever exposed to the light of day. So how do we protect that seed? How do we build momentum in silence and use our words not as a substitute for action, but as a confirmation of what has already been done? This is where the real work begins. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. The old rules of motivation were built for a different world, a world based on outer authority and social pressure. But the world is changing, and so are we. We are learning to move from a place of inner authority to find our own source of heat instead of constantly looking for it from the outside. So, the real question isn't whether to speak or to stay silent. The real question is, how do we become our own source? How do we build an engine that runs not on the fuel of fleeting praise, but on the quiet, steady fire of our own commitment? The answer begins with a shift in where you look for energy. Think about it. The old model, the one based on public announcements, is like trying to stay warm by standing next to a bonfire that other people have to feed. You declare your big goal, and for a moment, people throw logs of praise and encouragement onto the fire. It feels warm, bright, and exciting, but you're completely dependent on them. The moment they walk away or get distracted by their own lives, the fire dies down, and you get cold. Your motivation freezes. The project stalls, waiting for someone else to give it more fuel. In this model, you are a passive recipient of heat. The new way is about building a furnace inside your own house. It may start as a small pilot light, a quiet decision that no one else even knows you've made. You don't need anyone to see it. You just need to tend to it. And how do you do that? You feed it with action, not promises. Every time you do the work when no one is watching, you add a little more fuel. Every time you choose the difficult, unseen task over the easy public statement, the fire grows a little hotter. Over time, it becomes a self-sustaining source of heat. It doesn't matter if it's storming outside. It doesn't matter if anyone is cheering you on. You have your own source. You are no longer waiting to be warmed. You are the warmth. This isn't just a nice metaphor. It's a description of a real energetic process. It's about moving from an external locus of control to an internal one. It's a fundamental change in your relationship with your own ambition. So how does this look in practice? It works through what you could call the silent work protocol. This isn't about hiding or being secretive. It's about being deliberate. It's about changing what you share and when you share it. Let's take a simple example. You decide you want to learn how to bake amazing bread. The old way is to post a picture of a bag of flour and a new cookbook with the caption, "My sourdough journey begins." You get 50 likes. You feel like a baker. The new way is to say nothing. You just buy the flour. You read the book. Your first loaf is a disaster. It's flat and dense. No one sees it. There is no failure to be embarrassed about. There is only information for your next attempt. Your second loaf is a little better. Your 10th loaf is pretty good. You keep practicing in private for months. The process is your secret conversation with the craft. It belongs only to you. Then one day, you post a picture, not of a plan, but of a perfect golden brown loaf of bread, steam rising from its first slice. The caption is simple. "I made this." The impact is 1,000 times more powerful, not just for the people who see it, but for you. Because you aren't sharing a dream. You are sharing a reality. You are offering proof, not a promise. And what this does inside you is profound. It builds a quiet, unshakable confidence. Every silent hour you spent kneading dough, every failed attempt you learned from, was an act of building trust with yourself. You're teaching your own consciousness that when you decide to do something, you do it. Period. Your word to yourself becomes law. You don't need a public announcement to hold you accountable, because you have cultivated something far more powerful: self-accountability. Your private journal or a simple calendar on the wall becomes your most trusted partner. That little X you draw through a date after you've done your hour of practice. That check mark next to a task in a notebook that no one will ever see. These become sacred symbols. They are the evidence of your integrity. They are the fuel for your internal fire. And when you operate this way for a while, a fascinating transformation occurs. The craving for that initial burst of validation begins to fade. You stop needing the likes on the announcement because you found a deeper, more satisfying reward. The satisfaction of seeing a row of check marks grow, the feeling of your own skills improving, the quiet pride in knowing you showed up for yourself today. That becomes the real motivation. The work itself becomes the reward. You begin to fall in love with the process, not the praise. You discover that the true joy wasn't ever going to be in the roar of the crowd at the finish line. It was always in the quiet rhythm of your own 2 feet on the pavement, mile after unseen mile, in the steady beat of your own heart. This is the architecture of real creation. It doesn't happen in a flash of public inspiration. It happens in the accumulated integrity of thousands of small, private choices. It's the decision to write for an hour before anyone is awake. There's the decision to practice the chords until your fingers hurt. It's the decision to go for a run when it's raining and your warm bed is calling to you. These are the moments that build a life. The power was never in the telling. It was always in the quiet, unseen doing. That is the place where dreams stop being dreams and start breathing. That's the place where you stop hoping to become someone and start embodying them. One silent action at a time. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I am my own witness." Write it as your promise.